All right, so the next gland we need to talk about are the adrenals. The adrenal glands. And we have two adrenal glands. They are located on the top of the kidneys. So these are kidneys. The adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are right here. They're like little hats on top of the kidneys. So we already know, or you should already be familiar with the fact that there are two parts to the adrenal gland. So here's my adrenal gland. And we know that there's an outside and an inside. And from AP1, we looked at the sympathetic nervous system and knew that that is supplemented by the adrenal medulla. The adrenal medulla's neurotissue. Okay, so the outside here is the adrenal cortex. And this is similar in a way to the pituitary gland in that the posterior pituitary is neural tissue and the anterior pituitary is glandular tissue. So the cortex is glandular tissue. And it is made up of 3 layers. I'm going to draw those in here as best I can here. Okay, so there's 3 layers in the adrenal cortex, and they're called zonas. And this first one here, the one on the outside, I'm going to color in this little sort of blue color. Just a second here. So this outside zona is called the Zona Glomerulosa. The Zona Glomerulosa. The middle one, do this like a pink. So this one is called the Zona Vesiculata. And the innermost one, which we'll do a green, is called the Zona Reticularis. And each one of these secretes a certain type of hormone. And these are all steroid hormones. So if we look closer to the layers here, so we're going to go make a close-up of these layers. All right. And that's over here. So we've got the first layer, second layer, 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Okay. So this first layer is, or the first area is the medulla. That for M. And what comes out of the medulla? Well, the medulla makes epinephrine and norepinephrine. And it is responsible for the fight and flight response. So your adrenal gland is your stress gland, and this is the part of the adrenal gland that responds to a stress. And it is activated through neurons. Whoops. So neurons by the sympathetic nervous system. So we've got a preganglionic that either goes to a postganglionic that goes to a specific organ like the heart, or we've got a preganglionic that goes to the medulla, which allows for the secretion of the neurohormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline, or epinephrine and norepinephrine, into the blood. So the next layer is the green layer. So the Zona Reticularis. And the Zona Reticularis secretes androgens. So these are steroid hormones, of course, mainly testosterone. So testosterone, so these are gonadocorticoids. So gonadocorticoids. So in a female, this is where the female gets testosterone. In a male, this is where a male gets what little estrogen that they need, is from the adrenal gland here. Gonadotropins target most body cells, especially bone and muscle, and they increase bone and muscle strength. Muscle size and strength. They increase sex drive, so they're important for that. They kind of add to, especially testosterone, adds to aggression, competition, and that type of thing. So those are the sort of the effects of these. All right, the next layer, and as far as being secreted, what secretes it? Well, the anterior pituitary. Okay, so ACTH. So all right. The next layer is pinker layer. And this is the zona fasciculata. So the zona fasciculata makes glucocorticoids. And the main hormone from here is going to be cortisol. Cortisol is the main stress hormone. Basically, cortisol targets most cells, targets most body cells. It's secreted because of ACTH, and it basically gets the body prepared for an emergency. prepared for a stressful situation. Your medulla and the sympathetic nervous system allows you to react to the situation. Cortisol gets you prepared in the sense of making sure you've got lots of blood glucose and lots of nutrients and things like that to make sure that you've got the energy needed to run from the bear or whatever. So that's what cortisol does. Gets you ready for that stress. The next layer is the blue one. So this is the Zona Glomerulosa. And it secretes mineral corticoids. And the main one is aldosterone. And aldosterone targets the kidney. Whenever you see aldosterone, you should think sodium, because it tells the kidney to reabsorb sodium. Reabsorb sodium. It increases blood pressure, and it increases blood volume. So that's the adrenal gland. The medulla and the cortex, which is again separated into those three zonas. And so androgens, glucocorticoids, and mineral corticoids. So make sure you go through each of these, make sure you know what cortisol is, and we'll talk more about cortisol and its effects. And aldosterone we will talk a lot about this semester.